Kim,
Here.
Hillary,
Here.
Jeff, Carly,
Yes.
Jaden.
Here.
Coy.
Here. All right, let's do.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, first off is BHS student report. Jacqueline, sorry.
Alrighty, while she's pulling that up, just a refresher like we always do, for anyone that doesn't know us, my name is Jacqueline Shell. I am Burn High School Student Council President as well as the Senior Classes President.
And I'm Claire Schmaltz, and I am the Vice President of Students.
The clicker's on.
That's not the right presentation. Ours is March board meeting.
This is the one that I received.
Oh, that's our very first one.
We can just tell you about what's going on, it's just we're gonna see it through the pictures.
So we're kicking off all of our spring sports. We had all of our tryouts last week, and I'm not 100% sure if summer's still going on. Sure, some are. But we have baseball, softball, girls and boys lacrosse, girls soccer, girls tennis, and girls and boys track and bowling. And then also what is going on at Brandon High School right now, spring break is coming up. This Friday, it's the 22nd to the 31st. Everybody's really excited. And then online class deadlines are March 22nd. Legally Blonde, we play Legally Blonde this weekend. It was the 16th and 17th, and the high school all went down to the PAC and they watched it on Friday. It was a lot of fun. We are also still doing our Greater Blackhawk athletics program after school, where they offer weightlifting and some training if you're not in sports, or if you are. They also have high school homework help with just math tutoring. That is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays every week. And then Oakland County Parks Possibility for Work is also open, and that is open up.
And it's Marcia's reading. As for what's going on in the student council, it technically was the end of February, but we attended our MASC, MHSA States. We had so much fun. We learned a lot of cool things. And Claire actually won Student Leader of the Year for our school. Grace Cohen won our Unsung Hero Award, which is just for someone to be recognized for, they do a lot within the council, within the school district for a community, but don't really get that recognition that they deserve. So Grace also won that award. We just went and led to students at Oakwood. That was on the 5th this month. We had a lot of fun with that. I was actually in Silky's class. Well, Claire was too. Yeah, I was. Oh, we also got the Award of Excellence, which we actually pain in the butt. We didn't get it at first. Then we appealed the award and we got it. The greatest 40%.
And then we also got the Exceptional Service Project Award for putting on a good service project for our community school.
And when applying for that award, we actually talked about the mental health week that we just put on. So that was really exciting. We're very happy to get those. So like I said, we read to students. That was a lot of fun. Our whole council enjoyed it. And we also just did a locking out with a couple Fridays ago. That was also a lot of fun. We had a big turnout. It was very chaotic, very fun. We did lots of painting, lots of coloring, lots of painting of nails, lots of basketball, lots of basketball. It was a very good night. And it sounds like the students really liked it. We actually had 140 students sign up to all of them. But we just had a Green Out Spirit Day for St. Patrick's Day last Friday. And then our spring break spirit week, today was Airport Band. Tomorrow is Adam Sandler Day. And then Wednesday is Tourist Day. Thursday is Rhyme Without a Reason, and Friday is Mathletes versus Athletes, so that's gonna be fun. I'm just actually trying to figure out my Adam Sandler fit right now, but. And then we have been doing a lot of preparations this month within student council. We set dates for our charity week, which is gonna be, May 5th through, May 22nd through, May 26th. And then our Star Awards that we do every year is gonna be, May 10th. And then our next blood drive is coming up on, April 26th. So we've been doing a lot of prep for that kind of stuff, figuring out events for our charity weeks, figuring out awards for your Star Awards. Sorry, much brain fog. Lots of preparation for the upcoming months. I'm really excited. We're also starting to plan our spirit trip, which right now the seniors are winning the spots. So good job, seniors. We had some pictures to show you guys, but we're not gonna be able to show them to you, but they're just pictures from our state conference. Some pictures of Spirit Day that was dressed like one of the basketball players, and a picture from our lock-in. So I'm sorry that you guys won't be able to see those. If you want, I can share our presentation with each one of you so you guys can see it. But that's all we have. If you guys have any questions? No, that sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up the superintendent report.
Great, thank you and good evening. I'd like to start off this evening introducing Mr. Jason Sheldon, the new legend of the Washington DC trip at Brandon Middle School. If you wouldn't mind kind of jumping up here to the podium and sharing with the board the information regarding the potential trip for the class of, what is that, 2029.
And then it's on the agenda, Cedar Point as well.
That is too.
So
I get excited about Washington DC, can you tell?
that's okay. I'm the field trip guy, so I've got both I came with both just in case. I'm gonna start with Cedar Point because it's sooner. It's this June, whereas DC is next October. The Cedar Point trip is an 8th grade trip that we've taken for quite a while. When I first started at Brandon Middle School, it was a 7th and 8th trip for those who had good citizenship throughout the school year. It was a reward trip. When we added the 6th grade, that became a little more challenging, a whole nother grade of students to try to take. So we kind of changed it to an 8th grade reward trip for those who academically, citizenship wise, following our HAWK traits within the school building, have earned it. So basically we start tracking after spring break. We start selling the tickets and we start sort of monitoring and looking at behavior, grades, and whether or not they're following those HAWK traits. And that's how they maintain their eligibility. And we found that it actually, as the school year goes on and the weather gets warmer and more of them want to sort of check out, it keeps them engaged, especially 8th graders, because they go through their own version of senioritis. Their eyes on high school, they're kind of done with middle school mentally. So it keeps them engaged right up to the end. This year's trip is planned for June 7th. We get the charter buses, Blue Lakes charter buses. Depending on how many students, we usually take two buses with us. Leave in the morning before school starts, come back at night. Usually drop off here at the high school because it's easier to get the parents have room for the buses. It's an all-day trip. Last year we took 97 students. The cost is $85 per student. That covers the bus and the tickets. I missed anything. We take one chaperone for every 10 students on that trip. So we take parent chaperones on that one and staff members from the middle school, usually 8th grade teachers, because with 97 out of 130 or 40 students going, we're taking the bulk of the 8th grade with us and some of the students who don't attend school that day. So we take one chaperone for every 10 students. We've got a system in place to give the kids freedom within the park, but they also have to check in periodically throughout the day with their chaperone, who then checks in with the staff members at the staff table. So they have the freedom to go and do without somebody being right with them or walking in lines like at Harvey or Oakwood, but they also are taken care of and make sure that they're safe and that their needs are met while we're there. It's been going on, this is my 18th year at the middle school. It's been going on before I got there, and Mr. Laux and I are just happy to keep it going and that the kids love it, and it's sort of become our end of the year 8th grade trip. So that's the Cedar Point trip. Are there any questions regarding that one? I know many of your children have gone on that trip at different points, some with me. DC is in October each year. It's another 8th grade trip. The DC trip this upcoming year, we're planning on going from the 16th through the 21st of October. We typically have taken a bus overnight the first leg of the trip, which I told you last year, this meeting, well, no drama this year. The buses were fine. We made it all the way through, thankfully. But unfortunately, the busing companies are no longer offering that option. So we're now going to have to leave and miss that day of school instead of going at the end of the day. And we'll have to drive all day, stay in a hotel, get up, drive again. And so it's going to extend the ends of the trip, and it adds some extra hotel costs. So it's driven the price up a bit. And so I've looked at ways that we can maybe modify the trip to bring the price down. And I know Mr. Ayer talked to me about it recently at school about potentially even bringing this up to 6th graders as they come into the school, and 6th grade parents. So there's time for them to save money, because we want as many kids to go as possible. It's a fantastic trip. We do have a $1,000 scholarship, or it can be divided. It doesn't have to be 1,000 to one participant, but $1,000 from World Strides to give to students. And we use that every year. This past year, we had a couple students that we helped attend the trip with that money. There are fundraising options through World Strides. It's your typical email fundraiser. Family and friends shoot the emails out instead of trying to sell something, because I just got a card from Boy Scouts this weekend in my drive, and it'll be in my drawer. I'll never use it, even if I'm intending to use it. So oftentimes there's only so many Hungry Howie's pizzas you can buy. So that's a pretty effective way. Just, yeah, I'll give you 15 or 20 bucks toward your trip. So there are ways to help students who maybe financially need support. I have not heard from any parents or students from this next year's class regarding financial need at this point, but like I said, we have that available. We go not only to DC, but we go to Colonial Williamsburg, we go to Jamestown, Virginia, and we go to Philadelphia. So there are multiple legs to the trip. It all corresponds with 8th grade US history and the curriculum that we teach, from early American history through government. Obviously, it also connects to your high school civics when we get into DC and we see the Supreme Court and we go to the Capitol and things like that. This year, we've got 45 students signed up so far. Last year, we took, I don't have the exact number in front of me, it was in the 70s range. We took 2 buses. I say last year, but it was this school year, it was October 23. We also take chaperones on that one. That one is, it's 1 per about every 15 students. And those chaperones are all Brandon School District employees. So for an out-of-state trip like that, Mr. Hendershot did it this way, and I thought it was the right way to do it. So I didn't mess with anything regarding that. It can be a parapro, it can be a bus driver, it can be, but a school district employee who has experience monitoring kids, because it's different. So once other people's kids around a little bit. And when you're going to DC and you're going to big cities like Philadelphia, it's really important that we have people who are assertive and are used to working with kids. It's worked really well for us in the past. I've heard from many people in surrounding areas, and I'm not bragging on myself because Mr. Hendershot's one to put it together. I just took the baton. But I've heard from many people that our trip, compared to neighboring districts and communities, is the best of the best. So I'm hoping to continue that going for as long as we can as well. Any questions on that one?
So what is the cost difference?
It's an extra 250. Yeah. Just an
And
additional-
is it still the same? 'Cause from what I remember when my kids went, you can pay over a period of time up until then. I know they give a little discount for paying up front, but you can still make those payments.
Yes, so really, right when we get back in October, within a couple of weeks, we hold a meeting for the next trip. So it's close to a calendar year that parents have the information, and then, yeah, the company that we travel through as well can put you right on a payment plan, take it right out of your bank account once a month, once every couple of months, yeah, so you can make payments, which helps obviously as well.
How much is the total trip?
1750.
I don't know. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheldon. All right, well, this one is just, give her a big hug and have her come up front. As you guys know, we introduced a new position to the middle school this year to help provide support to students academically and behaviorally. And we had a very extensive search, lots of candidates, internal and external. And Jenny just blew. I've been told, because I didn't come into the end, but it worked for me too. But she blew everybody away every step of the way. And so Jenny is a Black Hawk through and through. She's done a lot, even in my recent time with her, to diversify her leadership experiences here in the district to ensure that she would be the type of candidate a district would look for a position like this. And we were giddy as all get out to call and offer Jenny the position as our new Dean of Students at Brandon Middle School. We were so excited. She actually started her position over on February 26th. We did have a little bit of time in there because we know she has a lot of relationships with so very many children at the high school. And she has a lot of influence over there too to try to help make that transition while also ensuring that the support was also at the middle school, which she walked into so very gracefully. Spoke with Mr. Air a couple times. He was like, came in this morning, we had a parent, working through an issue, and Jenny, she knew the parents, she knew the family. It was a wonderful meeting. Everyone was really happy and just really proud of her and her transition. So we couldn't be more delighted, truly. Jenny, welcome to our administrative team, and just love that you continue to be able to talk here.
Thank you. I'm glad I am.
Looks really good in it. I know, I'll wait for blue. Okay, and then lastly, we're in for a special treat with a student support services showcase this evening. We have our adult transition program here. So at this time, I'm going to pass the baton to Dr. Jessica Cohen, our Director of Student Support Services, for this evening's presentation.
Thank you. Welcome, and I have our leadership team and two students with us today. So we have Taylor Tillens, psychologist, Jessica Bienster, right, and yes, the other student, we have Gatsby, ATP teacher, Georgetta Manitou, research teacher and department chair. Now that Jenny vacated the position, so the leadership team. Oh, I'm sorry, and Tessa. The leadership team is new to our department this year, and they really help kind of guide our decisions in the district. I look for feedback and input. So you've heard enough from me, I feel like. So I wanted to make sure we share in this tonight. So we'll get on with it, and then I'll pass the mic over in a minute. Today I want to showcase our adult transition program, ATP, for abbreviation, letter academic special ed. So you may know through federal IDEA law that we're required to provide services to students who are eligible ages birth through 21. Michigan is the only state that goes up to age 26. So our programming for our adult learners is 18 through 26. Students may be eligible
if they need continued support. So these are students who would not get a high school diploma that exits you out of special education, who may get a certificate of completion and need that additional life skills training post-secondary. And so in Brandon, you may notice districts sometimes name their ATP programs. So ours is named BASE, which is Brandon Adult Skills for Employment. And it serves adults ages 18 to 26 with a variety of needs and strengths. And the goal is really to promote those independent living skills and think forward, right? What are they going to do after age 26 to be a member of society, to make sure that they're supported? And you'll notice you have baskets that BASE made for you on your table there. So I'm going to pass it over to Leah.
Hi. So part of our aim at BASE is to create things that are most like real life work situations. So within that, we have several micro businesses that we run, and your baskets are designed based off of our micro businesses. So those are some of the services that we provide in our micro businesses. I'm gonna have to spotlight some of them going through. So we run a coffee shop inside the high school, where we utilize equipment similar to Starbucks or Big B. Like, it's not just a Keurig, it's a real steamer, frother, whole 9 yards. We make lattes, cappuccinos, iced coffees. And this allows our team members, or our students, we call them team members because that's what you would call them at work. So we like to utilize restaurant equipment, practicing the serving skills, all types of different skills, even going into like cleaning equipment and how do we do that, all of those things. We also run a commercial licensed bakery. We make approximately 150 chocolate chip cookies daily. And then we also do large events. So for the BGWA banquet, we do about 500 chocolate chip cookies for them. We do other just different things throughout the community. So you do have a half a dozen chocolate chip cookies in there. We also do oatmeal raisin, muffins, sliders, a few other things like that. We are ServSafe certified, and our team members get experiences working in a commercial kitchen. We have a graphics and design micro business where we make tea towels, golf towels, shirts, things like that. IEP bootcamp headbands. We have a partnership with a distillery up in Traverse City called Northern Latitudes, where we make tea towels for them with fun little sayings on them. So that's the I have a Northern attitude there. And then you have a Brandon tea towel and a Brandon golf towel in your gift basket. We do a sewing thing where our sewing micro business where we take bead bags and make them into reusable grocery bags, which you have in your basket. And we do this because there's a few different companies, but there's specifically a company locally that hires adults with disabilities, really well paying jobs, and they make military uniforms. They have contract with the military. So we went to them, we toured them, we said, what do our students need to know to be able to work here? And we got commercial grade sewing machines and started sewing. So that's what we have there. We also do a glass making and etching where we take wine bottles and grind them down and make them into reusable drinking glasses. So you have one of those in there as well. And then we do all kinds of recycling, shredding, lamination, and finishing services. So when you need brochures made, when we need to make all the little visuals for all the different teachers throughout the district, all kinds of recycling, shredding services to get our team members having office work type experience.
So community-based instruction is kind of like a bridge between school and the community. What we're doing with the community-based instruction, we are trying to create, it's a kind of a collaboration between social work where students are learning social skills in this classroom setting or in the faith setting, and then they go in actually in community where they're practicing those skills in the real environment. As you can see, there are 4 domains for this community-based instruction: domestic, where the students are actually going and learning how to do a bed if they want to work as a housekeeper in a hotel, or vocational, where they want to learn to bag food in a store. Recreational leisure, teaching students how to
Restaurants.
going to a park, like a theme park, so they can be able to deal with the sensory stimulation, being able to self-regulate, being able to work on the social skills, how to talk, interact with others, strangers, stranger danger is one of the part of the lessons, and then community as a whole, how what and how they can bring back to the community. So we are fortunate enough that BASE is going through a lot of the community pictures on the left.
Yeah, we do at least, we actually go into the community probably at least weekly, but for sure monthly. We do a lot of our micro businesses provide opportunities. So we need to go to Sam's Club and stock up on the 25-pound bags of flour to make our cookies. We do all kinds of things like that. And then we also do fun things. All of those profits from the cookies and the coffee shop go. And so we can do things like going to Frankenmuth, going to A&W, practicing ordering restaurants. I had a student tell me, we go by first names in the program because when you work, you go by your first name with your coworkers. So that they'll say, Leah, I've never been to a restaurant without my parents before. This is the first time I've ever done that. So just giving those experiences with students. So we've gone out in the community. We also do a laundering services for one of our local community partners where we do some of their laundry for their business. So we can see that.
And you are a completely self-funded program,
Yes.
which is amazing because to fund all of this, so they truly have, you know, the cookies are amazing, the coffee, which is so nice, you know, as a director who's looking at the budget, to think like this is a completely self-sustaining program that provides amazing opportunities to our students.
The program is also supported by ancillary services, so that's speech and language, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and social work. And we all support the program weekly. And then we have a focus on functional academics, so that's instruction designed to build independence. So things like money skills, resume writing, interview skills, community safety, things like that. And then this is a thank you slide with some of our community partners. See who we're working with closely in the area.
All right, so we asked our team members, what do you like about BASE? So we wanted to give you a video of some of the other students that get support in the BASE program.
BASE is helping me learn how to be an adult. It's making me feel more responsible and more mature.
Okay. Help me do fun.
BASE helps me prepare for a job.
With others, good job. Go ahead.
This helps me learn to be independent.
Okay. Can you show me what's on your board?
This helps me school.
That BASE gives me work experiences.
We, say hi.
Awesome. Thanks, Jacob.
It could be a puzzle.
You like BASE?
Awesome.
We also have a couple. We also do have a couple students who are kind of, that's an honor. You wanna talk about your experiences with BASE?
Hello, my name is Connor Fortin. This is my second year in the BASE program, and BASE has helped me in many sorts of ways. It helped me understand social situations, how to understand business environments, how to cooperate with customer relations, how to understand certain types of sophisticated equipment, financial literacy, and also how to apply for internships and how to understand social situations without any family members involved. I am very thankful to BASE and very thankful to my teacher, Miss Leah Legasky, for motivating me to trying these new types of skills, accomplishments and activities that I'm also proud of my parents for motivating me to try too. So thank you for your attention to my announcement.
Thank you.
And then next up, we have Tessa Kremer, and I do have to share a little fun fact about Tessa and I. Tessa, I did my student teaching in Brandon. We're Laura Fry at the middle school, and Tessa was in my student teaching class in 7th grade. And now Tessa does work at our Brandon preschool, and she is my son's teacher. So it's very full circle. So I just said sure.
Hello, I'm Tessa Kramer, and I'm in my 6th year at ACE. My favorite jobs at ACE are the heat press and the coffee shop. I have had work experiences at the preschool, and I feel rehabbed. ACE gives me a sense of belonging. And they had given me a plan for my future career. Thank you.
Questions from the team?
Yes, that was great. Thank you. I mean, this is great information. Oh yeah, and thank you for these baskets. That is so thoughtful. And this is really neat. I know that we really appreciate that.
Free shout out to the card for our base program is in there. And if you ever need to order anything, base at brandon.k12.mi.edu.
Thank you so much.
Our manufacturing company is quite obligated to making sure our customers are satisfied.
Exceptionally reasonably priced as well.
Yes. All right, public comments. Okay, all right. And then, move the Brandon Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented. Oh. I'm sorry, approval of consent agenda. Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented. So, yes. Can I get a roll call? Oh.
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
yes, Rebecca.
Yes. Information discussion items for the report. The only one that I know of is, Jean and I attended the Oakland County School Board Association dinner last week, and it was held at OSTC. And I have 2 boys that are at OSTC participating in that, and there was so much information that I hadn't known before. They really talked about encouraging kids that aren't even going into the trades to utilize their programs there. I was at the Pontiac campus. They have a few different programs. It's a little bit bigger of a campus, and I was just overwhelmingly impressed with the opportunities that we have here in Oakland County because of OSTC. And Jamie had a really cool success story. I'm gonna tell it. Her daughter attended the cosmetology program at OSTC and now owns a salon in Chicago. So it was just a really, really neat dinner, and they gave us a lot of great information that I didn't even know as a parent how to OSTC schools. So yeah, it was really cool. Oh, sure, yeah.
Is that all right?
Absolutely.
So, 2 things that I just wanted to mention in public meeting are, sharing kudos is always fun, and this weekend's performance that the high school report referenced of Legally Blonde was just outstanding. It was so well done. The work that the staff, the parent support, the students themselves, obviously the cast was phenomenal. I have 0 skills that way. So I just sat there in awe, and it was really, really good. Everybody's efforts, I talked to many people while I was there, everybody's efforts, it was truly like a school, but a community event. And so hats off to everybody that was involved with that. And then we had the inaugural Run for the Roses, Derby night, everybody calls it a different thing. And, I was on the committee, but more behind the scenes, and then ultimately due to a child's college thing, couldn't go. But I've heard nothing but a buzz about that event, and everybody seemed to have a good time. I wanted to share kudos to Jody Hall, who, you know, initiated the idea, and the whole team that she assembled, which was comprised of about, gosh, I don't know how many there were of us, like 15 to 18. I mean, everybody just jumped in. And right down to the coaches were integrally involved, of course, in communicating all the relevant information, getting everybody hyped. It was a great event. And I think next year's even going to be bigger and better. But this year, for an inaugural event, the funds that were raised for our athletic program, it's just unbelievable. So kudos to Jody, the team that worked on that overall, and just to our school community, our community. Generally, the support is amazing, and that's why we're here in Brandon.
Thanks for bringing that up. Hillary and I were there. We had an absolute blast. I think it was the most fun fundraiser I've ever attended in my life, and I can say like almost I think it was right around the ballpark of 19,000 they raised for athletic department. So it was an absolute blast, and people are already like, I hope they do that again.
They're actually holding the post-event meeting to identify what to plan for next year right now. And so they're on it.
Yeah, it was great.
When I know Jesse had said with your mind, he said, you know, our cheer mat is just really falling apart. And so the girls sold their cheer mat for $2,500. Cheer mats are about $7,000. So 4,000 of that 19,000 is gone towards purchasing the new cheer mats. I thought that was neat for the girls to sell. You know, part of that money helps fund something that is, you know, difficult for the district to fund some of those bigger items.
Yeah.
And if it's not for fundraisers like that, it makes things really hard for us to have those sorts of things. So the district is exceptionally grateful for all the work that's gone into that and how that's going to help our athletes moving forward. So thank you.
All right, next up, education report with Ms. Stewart.
Okay. I have friends to help today too.
I'll get started.
Tonight, we are going to do a little update on Universal Design for Learning Initiative and how that's going and what it's looking like. And also give the board just a deeper understanding of what exactly is UDL. So as we get started, this evening, we look to share with you our timeline that we've had so far. What exactly is UDL? Like I said, give you a little bit deeper insight and understanding to what exactly it is that we're doing. Initiative evidence of progress. So I've got some of our cohort participants here to share just some of their experiences that they've been engaging in as we've started this work. Some of the data that we've used to guide our work, and then to share the next steps as we move out this year into next year. So just quickly looking back in June, this started when we started our planning process to work with our Open Schools consultants, Dallas DePaul. I'm getting them all mixed up because we work with PBIS. I almost said Amber's Barb and Amy Hahn, but with Dallas DePaul and with Andrea Zeller, and talk with them a little bit about what they've done in Southline, and because Southline is a little ahead of us. So talking with them about where they've been in Southline and what that could look like in Brandon is where we started last June. And then this fall, we got started by launching the UDL Foundation with everyone district-wide, and then specifically reaching out to our secondary staff to see who might be interested in joining the cohort to really dig deeply into the learning. And that is where we bring in cohort and participants here. We have Christine Board from Brandon Middle School who volunteered to come share today, and Andrea Stephen as well. Andy, as she goes by. And in the audience, we also have Jenny Gieselman, who was a part of our cohort before she vacated and moved to the middle school, and also Georgetta Manitou is one of our cohort members. So I just thought I'd point them out. If you guys want to step up and join in, you're welcome to. No pressure. And that brings us to most recently in January and February, we really got going with our very first full days of learning. And then in March, we had our first lab. So we'll get a little bit more into that. But that's where we're going into classrooms and observing our cohort participants really exercising some of the learning that they've had with our UDL learning in the classroom. So they can get in and show what does it look like when you're incorporating UDL strategies with your students. So that is our timeline at this point. So let's look at a little bit more information about exactly what is UDL and what is it looking like in Brandon. So this is just, when you think of the universal design for learning, it's defined as the why, what, and how of how humans learn, how our brains work, and how can we best support our students in the learning that we're seeking for them to achieve. So at the core of it all is that our belief that all students can learn. And as you know, that's one of our core beliefs in Brandon, so it's a perfect pairing. So that's just the overall gist of it. And I thought we could engage in a really quick activity if you wouldn't mind participating with me, because I thought it would be really fun if we had our very first annual Board of Education talent show. So I know it's recorded and everyone will be able to see your talents, but I want to give you a couple of seconds to really think about a talent that you have that is something that you can share with others. So just think for a minute. What talent might you display in our very first annual Brandon School District Talent Show? It'll be fast, it'll be fun. Okay, no talents.
Hillary, you'll go on.
Food related talent?
Yeah.
Are there any other food related? What else? Toot your own horns. Come on, what are your talents? What are your talents?
I have a unique talent that I developed when I was small. I'm really good at catching crayfish. I taught all my children and then we catch crayfish on top. That's random one.
All right, are there any other talents that we want to share? Jamie?
She is so good at math.
Are there any musical talents?
I can play the piano a little bit from when I was young.
All
Play
right.
jingle bells. There you go.
Any other musical talents? Physical talents? All right.
I got no games.
Yeah. What did you used to do, Mr. Wilkie?
Played soccer.
Okay, athletic talent. All right, well, what I should also tell you about this talent show is that it has to be your talent has to be a musical talent of some sort. So you're going to have to be able to play an instrument or sing in order to participate. And everyone has to participate because that's the expectation. So we're all gonna have to figure out what our musical talent is and share it. So just think for a few minutes about what it's gonna be, and then we'll all stand up one at a time and participate in our talent show. This is our voting audience. And they are gonna pick our winners. I'm gonna let you off the hook now. But the whole idea of this analogy is to get you kind of feeling what UDL is all about. So if we have a classroom full of students, they don't all come in with the same strengths. They don't all come in with the same talents. And when we're designing our classrooms, to expect them to participate and show their learning in one way, if it doesn't always align with their talents, it can get them to feel kind of the way you might be feeling just now in your seat, thinking that you might have to sing or play the piano, and we knew Hillary was gonna win our competition. She could play chopsticks and jingle bells. So our little example today that made you a little sweaty, I'm sorry, but thanks for playing along with me, was just to kind of give you that feeling for what are we talking about when we're talking about universal design for learning and getting all of our staff to really think about how to incorporate different kinds of designs for learning in their classroom. So what exactly is it? It's an intentional and flexible lesson planning and thoughtfulness that allows for all students' talents and learning styles to shine. It offers students choice in their learning activities and in showing what they've learned, and then finding and removing the barriers so that all of them are able to learn. All right, and one of the things that our cohort has been really looking at with our consultants is just the design cycle of planning. So it's not you just plan this way and now it's a skill that you have and now I UDL all the time. It's just a cycle of thought that you prepare your lessons throughout that cycle. So our teachers are working through learning that lesson planning cycle in order to intentionally plan. Oops. Yep.
Not this one.
No, let me just real quickly, this was Jason Miller's slide. He had to, at the last minute, back out, but this is an example of what something in a UDL classroom might look like. It's very visual. It gives kids a countdown, 3, 2, 1 until you're done. Just something to help them refer to. It's one of the strategies that they're learning. They get ready, do, done.
Okay, so we've been participating in our learning labs, which is really exciting. It allows us to go into the classrooms of our volunteer cohort teachers, which is just exciting as an administrator to see our teachers doing the right work that they do. And so this is not evaluative in nature, these learning labs. It's think of like a science lab. It's us really examining the environment to see what's working, you know, how are the students engaging with the curriculum and instruction. So it's been exciting, I think, at least for me, to go in and be, I know, and kudos to our teachers who are allowing us into their classrooms. You know, having 6 people at the back of your classroom watching your lesson can feel intimidating, but they've done it with such grace. So it's really, you know, all about engaging in that collaborative planning process and teaching with UDL in mind. So what is that on-ramp for every kid? Who is your student who's furthest from the target? Are we planning with that student in mind to engage, you know, across the curriculum? It's centered on issues of actual teaching practice, right? So, and I think in the reflection too, it was really powerful after our learning lab, because we go back and reflect. So we reflect individually and then as a group, right? And the teacher like sits quietly as we reflect, right? And then, but it was so supportive and so well done with the Open Schools consultants leading us through this work, because it really is meant to be a collaborative process in a lab for us to go in. And then, well, what variable can we change next? Maybe to get a different outcome or to, you know, have more success with our students. So and it has really required a time commitment on behalf of the district, the teachers, the administrative team. So it's been exciting. It's one of our, you know, big focus areas of the district this year. And it's really a way for us to learn. You can read lots of articles, right? But to see something in action in that lab format is really powerful for us. Okay, thanks.
I wanted to do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, you were
I think the thing that I appreciate the most is having the gift of time to sit and examine my practice and our practice with a group of like-minded educators. I think we're in hustle and bustle throughout the school year so often, and we know these things and we can read articles and we can, you know, read posts. But when you can actually sit there and have the gift of time to think about your own practice and to support your colleagues with their practice and know that you all have this same goal, which another way that we describe UDL is having a firm goal with flexible means to get there. So like the goal of our students learning is non-negotiable, but all the paths that they're going to take, there's so many different paths, and it's really a way for us to be intentionally focused on not just giving them, here is this choice, you know, choices, but having these intentionally planned different paths that students can take based on their learning styles and what your classroom environment is like. And it's invigorating and motivating. And so
I was one who had the lab in my classroom. So a little nerve-wracking, but it was really nice to get to that feedback and kind of learn, because it's really hard to kind of wrap your head around this UDL. It took a couple times. So when I did it, when I was trying to do my lesson, trying to, you know, plan my lesson, I was trying to think of some things, and then when we got back and I was done, it's over. They were really good about helping me, like, you know, like maybe you could have done this, and then I liked what you did here, and it, you know, it's a learning process too. And this is like the 14th year, Brandon, but it is. And I did it once for math, also. It's been a while, not UDL, but a math lab. And it is. You just learn so much when you just put yourself out there. It's nerve-wracking, but you learn a lot. So thankful for that.
I'm really thankful for everybody who's participating and allowed us and for that deep learning to go on. So. I can do it. Yeah. Well, go ahead.
We collected some survey data kind of to guide what we're doing and how we're moving on. So we asked teachers, how confident are you that your daily instruction is aligned with our district's vision for the implementation of UDL? And on a Likert scale, it's a 5-point scale. We were at about a 3.4, and this was back in December. And then we asked them if they feel like our professional learning this year, they're developing skills to support them in implementing our district's vision for UDL. And we were at a 3.1 on a 5-point Likert scale. And that is just with foundational learning just for elementary and deeper learning at secondary only. So we'll do this again. These will be the questions that we bring back to staff to kind of track our growth and to see if that response moves closer and closer to 5. So we can get as close as possible. So that's where we are and what we're using to guide our work right now. We've also, during our cohort time together and our learning with Dallas and Andrea, we've got some just qualitative journal responses from all of our staff that are joining us. And this is some of the responses that you can see, questions and thoughts that they've had along the way. This is something that we collect often, and we've got a collective reflection journal as well. So looking ahead, here's what it's looking like from here on out. So in April, we have our 3rd Teacher Leader Cohort Day of Learning, where we will be spending time doing that deep planning, like Andy said, time with colleagues, time to reflect a little bit more on the labs that happened, and to plan forward for our next and last lab in May. And then in June, plan for teacher leaders from 23-24 to share out, not in a real formal way, but just to kind of share their experiences with the cohort this year in hopes that we can get more staff to join our cohort in the fall of 24-25 to keep the learning going and growing. And then kick off and recap 23-24 in the fall of 24 and 25 with the group as we design it to be. And like I said, expand and invite other teachers to join the cohort, and then continue to find the coherence among all of the things that we're working on. Last month, I highlighted PBIS for you and showed how that was going. And I mentioned then how we want to keep everything connected, right? These are not separate things working in silos. These are things that are all working together so we can have coherent instruction and across the district. That wraps it up. There are some pictures of our team. I think I shared those in board notes a while back, but there they are working in their cohort group. And if you have any questions for us, we are ready.
That was great. That's really, I liked it. What I wanted to say that it's a firm goal of flexible means giving. That's the little theme in life, right? Thank you. Thank you. So next up is finance report with Jan Ziegel.
Tonight I'm here to present a budget amendment for the current year. We'll be talking about just a few brief highlights for the general fund, the child care fund, and your food service fund. So I'm thinking if you have questions about any of these numbers along the way, maybe it's better to stop me then instead of waiting till the end. Okay, general fund. Key takeaways from this budget amendment is we're projecting an operating surplus, $305,599. That's good news. Our student enrollment trend in general education. Last fall of 2023, we had 2,019.88 students. That's the way the state counts. And then the year prior, we had 2,058. So our general ed student drop year over year was 38.53, which is actually better than we've had in the last few years. On the specialized education enrollment trend, fall of 2023, we have 74.66 students, and the year prior, 58.35. So we did see an increase in the special education number of students by about 16 students. This year, this current budget that the board will be adopting tonight is consists of $2.7 million in federal grant dollars. that includes all of our ESSER money. Next year, the federal grant dollars will be reduced by $1.4 million. So roughly half of our federal money this year is going away next year. We have state and local grant dollars. That would be state money like 31A, 31AA, and then money we get from open school, $3.3 million in the budget. That particular funding is only, we expect to reduce about $118,000 next year. So our state and local dollars are pretty much intact. Our big reduction going into next year will be federal. We move into our food service takeaways. Our projected revenue at the end of the year is about $1.6 million, just under. Projected expenditures, $1.5 million. Now I have in parentheses before the spend down plan. The state, we are allowed to carry 3 months supply or 3 months balance of operating expenditures. We're way over that. So we got our letter this year. So I kind of wanted to frame it. If we just, our current budget, we're looking at operating surplus about 70,000. Now, once we put into place, which we're working on currently, the fund balance spend down plan, which the state says we have to spend 409,258. That's a big number. And they're pretty new, I have to say. We just have to have a plan and don't necessarily have to do it right away. That would give our expenditures, that would make our expenditures $1.9 million. So after, if we were to, once we implement that plan, our we will be looking at an operating deficit of about 334,977, and that is intentional. The state does not want us to keep building up the food service fund. We're supposed to, put it back into the program every year, but it's been hard for us to do that due to extra money we've been getting in the food service program through the funding. So,
Just one question. So just to clarify, that excess is from food services, right? The 409, 258 is from.
This is all food service.
The free lunches we're now getting, so that is now giving us a surplus.
Yes, in the past few years, we were getting a really high reimbursement rate during during COVID. They increased the rate, so and we have been spending. We've increased our spending, but we just. And then 409 is somewhat cumulative. We didn't spend all of last year's spend down plan either. So that's the goal, is to get that in alliance, or to get the food service fund where it should be. So we're starting the year, as you see, with a big fund balance of 790,009. Projected to end the year before the spend down plan of 864,290. So once again, we'll be adding some to the food service fund. If we implement our whole spend down plan, then the fund balance would go to about 455,000. I will add, I didn't put it on the slides, but the board has already approved the Harvey Swanson kitchen makeover. That's about 100,000. Ashley and Mark and some of them all too getting quotes at the middle school. I guess the lunch line is not very it's just backwards. It's not good. So we're looking into that. That'll be 2 construction projects. So that 409,000 probably will come to fruition, not this year, but in the next couple of years.
And so, sorry, just one question. And so just to clarify, that has to be allocated towards something that has to do with food services?
Absolutely. Construction, hiring more people, spending more money on food, which we have been doing.
But it can't be spent other places.
It cannot be spent in the general fund. No, specifically has to be spent within the food service fund. So they have a good problem. We don't have that. Yeah. Now, when we get to the child care fund, projected revenue at the end of the year is 363,291. Projected expenditures are 605,303. So we're looking at an operating deficit in the child care fund of 242,303. Beginning fund balance, the next slide will explain this. We are coming into the year with a nice fund balance for our child care fund, 475,631. So we can afford to take this, this reduction. We just can't continue that path, or eventually the general fund would have to transfer, which we can't let that happen. So the ending fund balance at the end of this year, approximately 233,328, which is still a nice fund balance. But if we were continue to run with 242, because after next year, we have a problem. So, the audited revenue for last year was 984,000. And the projected tuition revenue decline this year is 109,000. What happened is we moved several students that were eligible for GSRP because they raised the eligibility requirements. So we moved 9 students that were tuition paying students into GSRP. And then we have a few other students that qualified for a reduced tuition. So between those and just less students in our program, we do not have a waiting list, which we have in the past. We're seeing that decline in tuition revenue that we did not anticipate, frankly, a few months ago. That's actually a pretty big number. The projected federal, I think everybody recalls that we had a lot of childcare grants through ESSER, like a lot. So that's why last year's number was so big. We have 509,348 in federal grant revenues last year. I'm sorry, yeah, federal grant revenues. So those monies were taken away. So that explains why our revenue, why it's such a big 100,000 in tuition and then 500,000 that we reduced in federal, kind of one-time money actually. So our projected expenditure reduction is actually 110,000 this year over year. I will add, we'll get into this more in June, but we are working very hard to get close to a balanced budget. I don't think we'll do it next year, but the additional tuition revenue will help on 100,000 and COIN and Cassandra had met on programming changes. So we're very aware of the situation and are already taking measures. We're not going to wait until like the fund balance goes to zero. So this we should be in good shape with this fund as well. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you.
All right. There's items, approval of human resource report.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the human resource report as presented.
Second. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call?
James,
Here, yes. Sorry.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
yes, Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of budget amendment 1.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve budget amendment 1 as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of 8th grade students trip to Cedar Point.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the 8th grade students out-of-state trip to Cedar Point and Sandusky, Ohio on June 7th, 2024 as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes.
yeah,
Approval of BMS 8th grade student trip to Washington, DC.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the 8th grade out-of-state overnight trip to Washington, DC, October 16th through the 21st, 2024 as presented.
support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of campus K-9 contract.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the campus K-9 contract as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of Ali contract renewal.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the Ali contract renewal as.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of outdoor ground services contract.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve parks and maintenance outdoor ground services 2-year contract as presented.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
yes, Rebecca.
Yes. Approval of Rico, thank you. Copier contract.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the Rico copier contract as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
yes, Rebecca.
Yes. All right. Alright. That's it. Meeting adjourned. 7:30.